What is up, small folks? Today I want to talk about our first treehouse and some of the design builds, the limitations that I ran into while building this. One thing that I'm not 100% sure that I like is the turrets I built. They look more like grain silos than they do turrets. One of the first limitations I ran into was height limitations on building. I first built the foundation out of wood because it's much easier to get wood and bark than it is stone and clay. Since the peak of the house is right here, that's why you see a stone strip. I was thinking or hoping that in the future they might have things like carpet, and then I could just make this a transition with red carpet or something like that. When I first started laying out this house, I was hoping to get the outside shape that I wanted. Then later on I would go in and lay out the rooms how I wanted them. Sadly, that wasn't the case. I had to compromise. The walls you see here is because I needed structural support for the roof. This little part of the roof is what caused me the issue. When I tried to lay it out, it just wasn't any structural support, so I had to build down to get that foundation. I also had to change this foundation to stone because of how high the roof was. I also had to put a stone foundation for the turrets because they are so high as well. Here's a little makeshift fireplace I made. And this is just a big empty room that I could use for whatever in the future. I also want to talk about lighting in this game. There's only a couple options, and they don't really put out that much light. They add a nice little pretty effect, but they really don't add much lighting at all. I found the best light to be the cooking fire. This is why you're going to see random campfires in our house. It's not for safety reasons, I assure you. That door, speaking of safety, is just for egress. This room was a deck, but I already had a deck, so I just added on for extra looks. That's why you kind of see part of the roof right there. I haven't decided what to do with that yet. And speaking of grain silos, what works well with them? Windmills. I want to talk about building pillars in this game, because they don't seem to offer any support, or at least I didn't think they did at first, and I'll tell you why. In Valheim, if you had too much of an overhang, you could build pillars and use them for support. In this game, it didn't seem like they did anything at all until I got to this room. There were certain roof parts I could not put in, and I really didn't want to put a wall here, so I ended up putting up a pillar, and for the first time I saw it support the roof, and then I put the rest of them in there just for looks. Below those roof supporting pillars is the walls I had to put up just to get up that high to support the rest of it. Because of the build limitations, it was definitely a more interesting build. There are definitely walls that I wouldn't have put up if I didn't have to. I would have liked that this was more functional and less like the Winchester Mansion. Anyway, this was the first big build of this game, and I'm hoping that in the future, as they add more, or I hope they add more, that I'll be able to tweak it, change it to what I like more. I would say my current wish list is that they add more lighting, more different options, at least make the lights brighter. The second thing I would like would be building visuals. Cues to let you know that you're almost at the max. You know, maybe a warning or something. I bring this up because there was challenges trying to figure out the limitations of building. I had a lot of trial and error to figure out what it did and didn't work. The third thing I would like to see is half walls. I had to manipulate some of it to do what I wanted, but if I had the ability to get half walls and half floors, I could do a lot more. I will say the pros of building in this game is that you get 100% refund on anything you destroy. which was great when you're doing a lot of testing. Another cool thing about the building in this game is the rotations. I like how you can rotate objects in three-dimensional space. I also love the snapping function. The ability to snap by quarters or halves was awesome. And even though I complain about some of the building limitations, at least your structure doesn't fall apart if you overbuild, like some other survival craft games that I have played. I have played many survival craft games, and I will say I do enjoy the building in this game. This is early access, first release. I'm praying, hoping that they add a lot more because I really do enjoy this game and look forward to see what the devs bring in the future. Anyway, thank you for taking the time out of your day to tour this with me, and please let me know if there's something you like or don't like. What kind of ideas do you think I could do or shouldn't do for this in the future? Again, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.